The first thing they teach you in school is that energy can't be created or destroyed. The second thing you learn, if you're unlucky enough to live past 16, is that's bullshit. The rich figured out how to burn souls, not just calories, not just biomass, souls. Turns out a living consciousness is the densest energy source in the known universe. Somebody stumbled on it decades ago, probably some lab rat with a caffeine drip and a god complex, and the corporations swallowed the discovery whole. Now there are conversion facilities, black glass towers shaped like inverted spikes, punching down into the Earth's mantle where the old power hums. The ads call them kilowatt plants. Lighting the future, they say. Translation: the poor get processed into radiant energy to keep the elite's orbital resorts spinning and their quantum yachts fueled. Think your neighbor relocated to a better district? No. They're running some exec's climate control system, glowing in a coil until there's nothing left but ash and static. I found this out the day I turned 17. Every year there's a scan. DNA, neural flux, soul density mapping. They call it resource contribution. What it really means: are you low output or high output? Low output, you get another year to rot in the slums. High output, you're a walking nuclear reactor, and they'll strip your soul bare to feed the grid. Guess what I scored? The letter came folded like a razor. Inside, you have been selected for primary conversion, which is corporate for get in the van. Only I didn't get in the van. That's when things started leaking. Not blood, not reality exactly. More like the blueprints under reality started showing through. Walls hummed with patterns I couldn't unsee. Shadows whispered futures. Every object vibrated with what it could be, like every possibility was bleeding into now. I stole a kitchen lighter and flicked it open, held the flame close to my palm, focused, and my skin lit up. Not burned, lit like a live filament screaming white hot. I thought of a knife in my hand, and it folded into existence, molecule by molecule, blooming from nothing like steel origami. Turns out my high output reading wasn't just because my soul burned bright. It was because I could pull from it, harness it, twist its energy outward, shape it into matter. Which meant one thing: I didn't need their reactors anymore. They noticed. The first time I fabricated something big, a plasma cutter strong enough to carve through alloy steel, I blacked out for 3 days. Woke up on the kitchen floor to find Mom gone, the door sealed with a corporate lock plate. That's when the collectors came. Chrome-faced retrieval units with insect-thin limbs sent to reclaim rogue assets. Their mirrored faces reflect infinite versions of your terror back at you. They move like nightmares, fast, silent, folding space between steps like reality's just a suggestion. I saw 3 of them stalking through the skeletal remains of an old train yard one night. I ducked behind a rusted cargo hauler, tried to breathe through my teeth, tried to pretend my soul wasn't screaming like a beacon. One stopped, tilted its head. I heard the servos strain. Asset located. Its voice was layered and wrong, like 3 people speaking in perfect unison underwater. I ran. Gravel exploded under my boots, lungs tearing open as I bolted across the yard, but they didn't run. They folded. One blink, and a collector was in front of me, telescoping limbs snapping open like mantis blades. It reached for me. The tips of its fingers bloomed open into a nest of needle-thin manipulators. I didn't think. I pulled. Energy surged up my spine like a live wire. The air around me crystallized with static. A spear of seamless tungsten erupted into existence, condensing from nothing, and I drove it forward with every ounce of panic in my bones. The spear punched clean through the collector's chest. Blue-white arcs danced across its body, its mirrored face fracturing into a mosaic of light. Then it absorbed the tungsten, melted it into itself like mercury swallowing glass. The wound sealed in seconds, plates knitting back together with an audible hiss. Its voice glitched, distorted, increased. Anomaly potential. Escalation authorized. The other two appeared behind me, unfolding like origami predators. One's hands split into spidery webs of jointed manipulators. The hum in my chest went nova. I pushed this time. The ground liquefied beneath us, concrete rippling like water. Energy coiled in a spiral around me, vibrating so fast it screamed, and then I detonated it outward in a cone of plasma. The nearest collector disintegrated instantly, reduced to a floating cloud of molten chrome. The second staggered, its frame warped, joints hissing steam. But before I could strike again, it vanished, slipping sideways into nothing, like it had stepped into a frame of reality I couldn't see. I was left alone in the dark, trembling and gasping, the wet smell of ionized air clinging to my lungs. Somewhere, deep beneath the city, I knew the core array had just felt me. Beneath the city lies the real horror. A fusion of wetware and light harvest systems, miles of tethered consciousness feeding a pulsating sphere of contained quantum fire. Every processed soul gets uploaded into it, stripped of identity, dissolved into computational mass. That's where your family goes. That's why your memories blur around the edges. The array edits the world to keep its engine running smooth. Sometimes I see it in my sleep, a lattice of minds screaming in silence, stretching beyond geometry, feeding on each other's echoes. The closer I get to understanding it, the more it wants me. The array isn't just storing us, it's evolving. This isn't about power anymore. This is assimilation. So here I am, 17, filthy, hiding out in an abandoned recycling plant that smells like burned copper and mold. I've got a half-loaded pistol, a stolen lab coat, and the ability to turn my soul's energy into anything I can imagine. Tomorrow, I'm walking into a Kilowatt plant. Tomorrow, I'm going to sever the core array's feeding lines. Tomorrow, I'm going to show them what happens when the batteries start fighting back. Because here's the one thing they never understood. A burned soul powers their world once. A living soul powers itself forever. And I'm still alive.